Wow, look at that. We're all here again and queer. I try to think of something interesting to do for each of these intros, and it never works out. So hi once again to my band of merry dipshits. It's King Dipshit over here, Ethan.
The Queen Dipshit. Oh, I was gonna say I'm the
no,
Queen.
I'm the Queen. I'm the Queen Dipshit.
Okay, I'm the Prince. I'm the Poobla. I'm the
Poobla.
I'm the Poobla Dipshit. I'm Andrew.
Yas, Queen.
I think we all introduced ourselves.
Do we?
Yeah, we have a special guest today. Look at that. How freaking cool. We have my good friend who I've only talked to on Twitter, and we shitpost and have based gamer chat opinions. It is our good friend Edgar. Hello, Sir Edgar. How be it this beautiful Sunday morning?
Hello, everyone. I'm good. Last night, I was working on tons of homework, and as soon as I typed the first word of my essay, I found out that he pushed back the due date to next Monday. So, life's pretty good right now.
So what you're saying is next Sunday you'll be writing your essay.
Yeah, that's all it translates to.
That's college and late high school life for you right there.
100%.
Well, so usually how this goes here, we talk about the video games that we done play, and then have a centralized discussion about one in common that we all played. And I don't know why I'm explaining this. Well, I'm so tired. Yeah. I did not sleep. Like really at all last night. I feel like garbage. But anyway, we played video games. I want someone to talk about video games they've played this week. I've gone, I guess the past couple times I think I went first. So I'm going to pass it to Edgar. What video games you played this week, if any?
My, oh my, I'm so honored. Let's see. Well, the way I play video games is like I play maybe an hour at a time tops. So I played a lot. So where do we begin? Let's see. I got Animal Crossing about a month ago. So my daily routine, has become just going to fucking Tom Nook being like, so about that house, and him being like, yeah, you still don't have enough. And then I go check my balance and see I have like 200,000 bells left. I go, okay, time to just fly to other random islands and grind for iron, I guess. And it's so fun. That's the thing about Animal Crossing. Why is this so fun? I don't know. Do it every day for an hour. The grind never stops.
Yeah,
another game relatable. I tried. Yeah, another game I tried is Wasteland 3. Did you guys know this came out in August of 2020?
Yeah, I saw a review from a YouTuber that I followed, does some like really good reviews, and he was like the only coverage I saw for this game.
Was it Skill
gave
Up?
It like a glowing yeah, it was Skill Up. Yeah,
yeah.
He gave it like a glowing recommendation for it. So that's all I've seen.
Okay, yeah, that's literally all I've seen too. I went, okay, this sounds pretty fun. So I tried it for myself, and I barely play the original Fallouts, which Fallout's a spin-off of Wasteland, so it's really nice to see an RPG that returns to form. And my god, that game is straight up an Obsidian game without being an Obsidian game. It is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. I think I might make that claim right here, right now.
Wow. Sick. Yeah, I've been interested into jumping into at least maybe like Wasteland 2 at some point. Of course, it's the meme here. Ethan has to bring up Game Pass at some point in the episode. The whole series is on Game Pass, and I believe on both on console and on PC. And with that, since I've heard so many good things about it, I was thinking about maybe just jumping directly into Wasteland 2, because Wasteland 1 looks a little too cryptic for, little too ancient for my my personal taste of RPG, but it looks good, and to hear more glowing recommendations of it very much secures that, yeah, I should definitely get on this at some point soon.
I'll do you one better. I'll actually convince you to jump straight to 3 for one reason only. So, in the opening section, what's going on basically, this isn't spoilers, it's literally the very first thing that happens. Your rangers get ambushed by some wild dudes, and so the whole tutorial section is just you fighting through them, learning combat and whatnot. But at the very end, once you reach your commander, a really cool rendition of Are You Washed in the Blood starts playing, and I think that's when I knew I was in love with the game, and I couldn't tell you if Wasteland 2 has that, so just off of that alone, I say maybe you want to just jump straight into 3. I don't know. That's just
Maybe.
I love my spiritual hymns. What can I say?
When you say RPG, is this like a turn-based combat type game, or like a Final Fantasy thing? Okay.
So what makes it interesting is that if you've ever played XCOM, I forget what specific type of combat that is, but it has XCOM.
Yeah, it's
strategy.
Yeah, it's called tactical.
Tactics. Yeah,
like tactics turn-based.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So Wasteland 3 has a bird's eye view, so it has tactics turn-based combat, but you're able to run around the world still in that view, and it's just really fucking cool. Just combining RPG with that type of combat, it's based. What can I say? That's the word of the day here. It's based.
Does it take place in a wasteland?
Well, yeah.
The wasteland called Colorado.
Wow. Who came up with that idea? Like, I want a tactics war game in Colorado. It's like funded.
Damn straight. And the final game I played, not to take up too much time, is I tried picking up Doom Eternal again, but it didn't go well because I ran into this really weird game-breaking bug where once I finally unlocked the laser sword thingy.
Oh, okay.
It puts you immediately into this combat section where it shows you, you have to pick up these pickups in order to recharge your ability to use the sword. But as soon as I die, the first time it spawns me back in, and my camera's stuck to the floor, so I can move around and jump, but I can't pause, I can't shoot, I can't do anything else.
Jeez.
And I even turned off the console, restarted the game, deleted the game, re-downloaded all of it, and it still was there. So all right, I'm never playing this game again. That's great. So
that that's insane. That sucks, especially because that game's really really damn good. And I had the I've played through it a couple times at this point. Never had any bugs myself, so it's crazy to hear out of the blue of something so.
Wait, what are you playing?
Dramatically game breaking. I played it initially on the PlayStation 4, and then I played it on PC for my second time through.
Shit, okay, because I ran into a lot of bugs. I'm playing on the PS4 actually, and there's one time where I was just trying to jump on a platform, and it for some reason launched me outside of the realm of the game. So I saw the whole game world, and then it turned black, and it just kept going, and I don't know if I'm really good at breaking games by accident, or if that game's just a special case of messed up that no one else saw.
You should play Prey then. If you're really good at breaking games.
I'm scared.
You could be a good QA tester.
Yeah, you would, huh?
Yeah, the first
just pull in on crunch and be completely abused by your managerial staff, but hey, you're good at your job.
That was honestly the first thought I had. So after that happened to me, I went on Twitter, and then Naughty Dog tweeted "Hey, we're hiring," and so just and out of curiosity, do I really want to work with the company as a bad rep? What the hell? Let's see what they're doing. And one of the things was QA, and I just had this flash forward of me breaking The Last of Us 3, Abby, and Lev's Adventures in Paradise. I just imagine Neil Druckmann getting so mad at me for breaking his masterpiece. Dude,
oh my goodness.
I'm just good at my job. I just get fired on the spot.
You're too good at your job, you get fired.
And that was my week.
That's a scenario and a half.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, um, I don't know. Who wants to go next? We're not organized.
Yeah. I actually have a couple of games I played this week that might make you guys kind of happy.
Go.
Ooh.
I first of all, I played the Witcher 3 for a little bit.
The Richer 3.
Yeah, I almost said the Bitcher 3.
The bitcher.
Got him.
Geralt just goes around complaining about everything.
Yeah, that kind of was what the game was like. It was I can't really say it was my type of game, but there was a few things about it that like I'm not a big open world guy. Something like you guys know about me, but I guess Edgar doesn't. But I'm not a huge open world guy. I tend to like very like kind of shorter, more like games that put gameplay as like the primary focus. Witcher 3 is a lot more story driven, and which isn't exactly my go-to, but there was a few things about it that kind of piqued my interest. But yeah, you're totally right about like just going around like talking to people. It feels you can actually like feel the personality of the characters a lot more than like your typical video game, in my opinion. Like my favorite example of this so far is you start talking to this hunter guy, and as you're talking to him, you can just kind of tell that he's just sort of like a depressed, like repressed person. Like he kind of like stays away from the village, is kind of a loner, and Geralt tries to like figure out like why he's like this. So he's like, "Oh, are you a werewolf, perchance? Well, I know about werewolves. I can like help you deal with it." And then the guy's like, "No, I'm gay." It's like somebody caught me in the stables with my boyfriend, and that's why I like live alone now. It's like I love how that's simultaneously more surprising than the werewolf thing and more mundane at the same time. Like obviously being gay is a lot more normal than being a werewolf, but like since you're in like a fantasy world, it's more surprising.
And especially like older days and whatever words normal lifestyles are by today's standards and as they should be are considered far more taboo. Back then it's really cool how that mixture of like fantasy and history comes together, and that's something that I feel the narrative of The Witcher 3 really helps continuously fleshes out through both its main and side quests as you keep going.
It's stuff like that, and there's a few other interactions, like with the first guy you played Gwent with. Like I thought he was kind of funny, and like there's I didn't get that game at all. I got creamed, but yeah, it was it's a cool thing. I didn't play a ton of it because I mostly played the other game I'm about to talk about, plus the main game for the week. But I'll definitely pick it up again at some point. So yeah, it definitely piqued my interest. I'll tell you that much at least. I can't say a ton about the gameplay so far, but yeah, it's definitely at least interesting. The other game,
I want to play it now.
the other game that Ben and Elias will be happy to hear me play is Ori and the Blind Forest.
Hell yes, so good.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played a Metroidvania, and it's a really fun game. I'm currently about to enter, like, I guess, the dungeon for the second, like, element. So, like, I got past the tree part, and then I went through, like, the mystical forest thing with, like, the changing layout. And I got I got the key to open up the next place, it seems like. It seems like it's going to be like a...
Ruins, maybe?
Yeah. It reminds me of Zelda. It's like you go to a place, you get a key, then you go to another place, you go into some sort of dungeon-like area, you fight a boss, and then like the area is cured. That's very Zelda-esque, but I like that. That's not a criticism. Artwork is beautiful. I love how agile Ori is. The opening didn't hit me as hard. I played the demo several months ago, and I like almost cried from the beginning. But this time I was like expecting it, so it wasn't.
Dude, I still cry.
That
opening hits hard.
It does hit hard, but I've played it enough times where it's just like I see it, I'm like, it's sad, but it doesn't hit me as hard because it's not really that much of a surprise anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Andrew. It's like it's a great opening sequence, like absolutely. But yeah, it's like after you've played it like a couple times, like okay, yeah, it's sad, but it's the beginning of the game.
It's like, just gotta get through the death part. And it's like, yeah, come on, speed it up. I'll get it. I know what's going to happen.
Right, die already.
It's like, why can't I skip this?
Speed running. Come on, speed running.
I'm trying to like. I guess there isn't a ton for me to say about it. Like, I guess my opinion just kind of echo yours. Maybe my I think my only like gripe is some of the platforming sections, I guess, are like you guys know, like those like slug things that like pop out of the ground and they like, you know, they shoot like fireballs at you, and
oh yeah,
and if you get too close, they like duck back into the ground.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few platforming sections based around like bouncing off those things, and I wish that they didn't go back into the ground. Because you can't bounce off them, so it kind of like makes some platforming sections a little bit too hard, in my opinion. And there's only like one correct way to do it. But as you can tell, that was a very small nitpick that I had to really look for. So yeah, there isn't a ton to complain about. But like every time I like see a platforming section based around those guys, I like kind of like brace myself. I guess like this is gonna take a few dozen tries. But yeah, other than that small potato, it's really good game.
I'm glad you're liking it though. It's a good game for sure. So
that one's like right up my alley, like perfectly. I love Metroidvanias. I love like very unique art aesthetics. I like very agile gameplay. Right up my alley.
Nice.
Hell yeah, I thought you'd like it.
Oh, cool. The only other game I played was the game of the week, so one of you guys can go now.
We'll get to that later. Okay. Ben and I have a shared game in common we did yesterday. So, do you want to go first, Ben? Do you want me to go first, or?
You can go first.
Okay. We have my usuals: Rocket League, Assetto Corsa, and I drive car. Besides that, I don't think I played anything besides the game of the week because I was trying to 100% it. Still have not because I suck. But yeah, I think that's all I really did. Just those two games, my little usual casual, just play those. So I'm planning on getting into Doom Eternal again. I need to finish Prey. I was just trying to finish some right now, but I'm like I can't focus and I don't know where the crap I'm going and I'm lost. So I'm not gonna worry about that right now. But yeah, I need to finish Prey. So that's my plan for this week. I'll go with my plans for this week. Plans is to finish Prey, start and finish Doom Eternal, and then either finish Nier Automata after that and or continue on Yakuza. Because I know I'm like at least a third of the way through Nier, so I need to finish Nier.
Yeah, you reminded me. I still need to keep going through Yakuza because I started Kiwami 2, but I haven't played it in a little while. Need to get into that.
I know. I'm trying to like just finish some of my freaking games. I also need to finish Mirror's Edge because I've left off Mirror's Edge Catalyst at like 75% of the way through. I just need to finish the stupid game. Like I like the game. I don't know why I haven't finished it. So I need to go back. And I need to finish Vanquish too. I keep forgetting to.
Oh, Vanquish!
Yeah, he told me about that. So I was like, "Frick, I need to go play that."
God, I love Vanquish.
But yeah, I have. So I didn't really play anything besides my casual, usual stuff. So there you go. That's all I did. And then I guess
I love that I've been like getting people into like my weird like, I guess I'll just call it like Ethan core games where it's like fast-paced like weird movement style shooters like Doom and Vanquish, and then like weird like big brain think how like try to shove like a square peg down a round hole, the video games like Prey and whatever. Like I love that my recommendations and me squealing about, you know, these kinds of games, I've been getting people here into them. So
yeah, no, I'm glad you've been recommending these because those are my kind of games that I really do like. I didn't like not the Prey kind, but that is becoming something I am really enjoying. But like all the other fast-paced actiony shooter with a bunch of movement mechanics are usually my favorites. I just sucked at finding the ones that actually had that in it. So I'm glad you're recommending them. I'm like, oh, sweet.
They're hard to find
because no one does them. They're such a
like
I'm not gonna say they're niche, but they're just not common.
We get like one good one like every like maybe 2 to 4 years.
I guess that's the kicker. You find them, but they're never good. It's hard to find a good one that actually feels good to play. So
I can only think of like 3 good ones off the top of my head from recent memory, and that'd be like Vanquish, Doom Eternal, and Titanfall 2.
Yes, sir.
yeah, it's just kind of sad. I wish it was more. It's a fun game type, but yeah.
Yeah. I guess you could count like Apex Legends as well.
Yeah, I do want
although
to
there's,
try
like,
that.
no-
So if you're
no wall
willing
running.
to, let me know and I can download that.
Hell
and
yeah,
try it
dude.
together. So.
I got laid off, so I'm here.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Yeah.
I told you guys, yeah, I got laid off like a couple weeks ago. So
Oh, I thought you found another job though.
Oh yeah, I thought you had another job.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh jeez, no, like that would be ridiculous.
Okay.
Anyway, Ben.
Yeah, Ben. go.
You're chatting about some games. How about you go, and then I'll go last. That's no problem.
Yee. So I played I played the game that we had in question for this week, and then I also played Doom 2016. Those are the two
Yeah.
main games that I played, and I liked both. Both were very, very fast paced. Yeah. And I'm just loving Doom more and more as I keep playing it, because I don't know, it just looks great, it feels great, the music's awesome, just the environments are incredible. It's just a really cool game in my opinion, and I'm excited to finish it and then either do some extra challenges in it or jump into Doom Eternal, and yeah.
How far have you gotten into Doom?
Last I left off, I got to the Titans realm.
Oh, okay.
So it was right
Okay.
after I killed the cyber demon.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I am beyond happy that I've gotten like all of you to play Doom 2016.
Such a good game.
I'm really excited to get impressions of Eternal when you guys eventually get to that.
I mean, I did you have my impression.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I need to finish it.
yeah,
but
I
got
know
my
you. I
initial
know
impression.
you've been playing it. You like it a lot.
Oh,
you think you like it more than 2016.
Yes, I do.
It's freaking great, man. So I guess this leads to me. I'm usually the one with the most games during a week because I'm a degenerate piece of shit and I don't do anything better with my life.
Actually, real quick, can Ben and I talk about our little duo game we did together?
Oh,
Because
yeah,
it was
go
that
ahead.
quick little thing. So Ben and I decided, since we have VR and I have my Assetto Corsa simulator, we would try a drunk driving test. And this is the first time I drank too, so this was interesting for me. Anyway, so we ran some tests. So we played one specific map with a specific car, and we did pretty good. Just normal. We were counting.
We tracked our times, and we had a point system for going off the track or hitting a wall or just completely destroying the car. So
and so basically the way it went, I have my little chart here. So let me find it. It was definitely interesting because it didn't immediately go bad after we started drinking, but later on it got worse.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously, but it was fun to see how it evolved throughout things and how we played differently too. So, but Ben's first lap time on the track was 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and no crashes or anything. And then his second lap time was even faster at 2:46. And then I had 3 minutes and 3 seconds, then 2:23 with no mistakes as well. Then later on, after we had taken a bit of a drink, I think Ben finished his first glass of the little mix that we made. We got to a point where I did faster on both of mine, and he did better on both of his without any crashes yet. And we weren't fully feeling effects yet, so we decided to do another run a little bit later. I mean, I had my worst time, and I went off the track once after that with a 4-minute time, so doubling my times. And then the second one was just as fast as my fastest time without any mistakes. So it was a weird, complete fuck up on the first one, and then perfectly fine on the second one. And then Ben actually went so slow that he couldn't finish the race in time. On his medium-ish, almost to the drunk stage level. And then we tried doing a random map just because we had been doing the same course over and over. So we tried a random
We
one.
we wanted to inject an element of surprise.
Yeah, and so with the random one, I went off the track multiple times. I had 2 points, so that means I went off the track at least once or twice. Once really poorly, or once like kind of suspiciously off the track. I did that for both of my laps, and both laps were about 3 minutes long. The second was almost 4 minutes. And then Ben had a 4-minute, 20-second first time because he went super slow and super cautiously. No mistakes. And then he fell off the track on the second one, but did twice as fast for 2 minutes. So interesting results. We're gonna do some more tests though. I'm excited to like see how that goes. But
And the weirdest thing was that like when I was at the point where I was like actually drunk, I felt like less drunk inside the VR headset, which is contrary to what you were thinking, Ethan, because we had like a bin ready and stuff like that in case it did affect us. But like when I got in the headset, like I felt fine. I didn't feel nauseous at all. It was weird.
yeah, it was so funny.
And then I stepped out and I was like, oh.
You were like falling over the second you stepped out of it. You had the headset on. You're like, I'm perfectly fine, guys.
Yeah, it was weird.
So, but yeah, those were our drunk adventures in a sim game. So,
Drinking and driving for science.
yes.
Yep. And then he had me try to play Danganronpa, and I can't remember like
Oh my
what
God.
exactly happened.
Watching him read when he was drunk was the funniest thing. He just could not read anything.
I don't think I've ever seen like either of you guys smashed before. That'd be a freaking fun night.
So,
I mean, if you're down to come like do the experiment with us, then yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
yeah, it was definitely fun. It was interesting. We're gonna have my roommate join us next time too. He's planning on getting like smashed for it. So yeah,
Sick.
we'll see.
It's so weird to hear you guys talking about stuff like that.
I know. I never thought I would ever drink in my entire life, and here I am doing it for science. I think that's the only reason I would ever drink, for science. That's the only reason.
And next month you're a crippling alcoholic.
Oh, just watch. Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
No.
It's for science, guys. I want to see how long my body can last under this pressure.
That's such a weird way to get like addicted to alcohol. It's like through VR.
Becomes an alcoholic
Video
because you
games.
get drunk specifically in VR.
Video games gave me an alcohol addiction.
Yeah.
So, I'll do a quick rattling off of my stuff because we've been going for a while now. Let's see. So, my week. I finished my run of Dark Souls. I did a I played the remastered on PC. Finished that again. It's always great to do that. Finished it with the Gravelord sword because I'm a badass. I finally actually did Siegmeyer's quest line for the very first time. Really fun NPC quest there. Then I decided, because I hate myself, to do an enemy and boss randomizer. It's awful. I had to reset my run a couple times because I would have 2 bell gargoyles that would be spawned in front of like a fog door for the asylum demon. And I didn't have a weapon, and like you can't open up the door again from the bonfire. I had to get through there, but there's 2 gargoyles that are just standing there, so it's literally impossible to get through this. Their reach is so large, and like they're so big, like I can't move past them. Yeah, so I had to reset that a couple times, but I think I'm at a point where it's finally like working okay. So I'll give updates on that as I continue to go through my randomizer. I played... Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I tried playing Assassin's Creed on the PS3. Ass Creed. Because the thing is like, I said this like earlier in the year. I'm trying to play through every single Assassin's Creed game in 2021. Because I hate myself.
Yeah,
and
no kidding.
so I started with the first one. But I already played it on the 360, is booting it up on the PS3. No trophies on there, so I don't have my digital dopamine release to keep me invested in that. But on top of that, like, it runs like shit on the PS3. Like, it's absolutely terrible. Consistent, like, sub 30 frames per second drops. Like, it is almost unplayable. Like, tons of screen tearing on top of it as well. It's like, wow, this feels like a really shitty PC port. Like, and I'm trying to play it on a toaster. Like, it was terrible. I got through the prologue and everything, and after that, I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I already know the story, because, like, nothing happens in the first Assassin's Creed, like, at all. It's like as soon as you hit 2 is when things actually start picking up steam. So then I played Assassin's Creed 2. I got the Ezio collection on PS4, and I actually did like a 5-hour stream on Twitch.
It was fun to watch.
Just like recently, where I was getting the platinum trophy in Assassin's Creed 2.
It was a good time. I was there too.
Yeah, I did all the freaking feathers and everything. There was that fantastic moment where I was down to like 99 out of 100 feathers, and I didn't know where the last one was, and I was going through the 7 stages of grief, like trying to find where it was, but eventually we found it, and oh man, it was so rewarding. But then after that, I just had to finish the story. I did, got my platinum, sick. So Assassin's Creed 2 is done. Now I'm moving on to Brotherhood. But in the meantime, since I kind of cleared up on the games that I was playing and the like, so my palette's becoming a little cleaner. I picked up, started playing through the remake of Link's Awakening.
Oh my!
On the Switch. Yeah.
Right. So this is your first top-down Zelda game?
Yes. Well, I played like a tiny bit of A Link to the Past, but only like a tiny bit. So I'm meaning to get more into that one, because what I played, I really liked. But yeah, so I've been playing Link's Awakening. I'm consistently getting lost and have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Which leads to bouts of frustration until I finally look it up, and then I go to where I need to go. And then just doing that on repeat. I am currently lost again.
Link's Awakening is pretty notorious for that, definitely, being a Game Boy game. And if you haven't played a ton of Zelda games, then yeah, it can definitely be pretty vague in some areas. So yeah, I don't feel bad about looking up the answers or something.
No, I certainly am not. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, because like I finished the second dungeon, and like I didn't get like an actual like real reward after killing the boss thing in there. I have the little chain chomp dude with me.
Ooh.
And I'm like, but because the thing is, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, there's more to the dungeon to explore, but I don't have a small key to get through the door that I need to get through. So I'm, like, and there's all these pots everywhere that I can't move around. So it's like, does this dungeon the one where I can actually, like, start lifting things, or what? And I don't know. I'm freaking lost. So I'll keep playing through it. I'll look it up and figure out what to do from there.
If you have the chain chomp guy, you go into the swamp, and he starts eating the stuff for you, and that's how you get into the next dungeon.
Yeah, I'm in that dungeon. I finished that one. Okay. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
But you still have the chain chomp?
So, well, not in the dungeon, but like I walk out of it and he's still with me. I haven't returned him. I guess I'll have to return him. I might do that next.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a kiss for it. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Now kiss.
Yeah, I really love Link's Awakening, but I don't think you'll like it as much as A Link to the Past. I think that one would probably be more up your alley, is my guess.
Oh yeah, everybody like, you know, screams about Link to the Past being like one of the best Zelda games of all time. So
yeah, temper your expectations a little bit though. It is an old game, so I don't expect to be blown away.
Oh yeah, no, like I know I play a lot of like older SNES games and whatever, and I love them, but I know, like, you know, there's some dated aspects to it. Still love my Donkey Kong Country and Super Mario World and whatever. So yeah, so that be games I played. So this leads us into our central discussion of the one game that we all played, because we're a Sardonicast ripoff, but we're video games instead. Eat your heart out.
You know what's funny about that is that Sardonicast does it once every 2 weeks, and they just have to watch a movie. We got to play a whole video game in a week.
Oh my goodness, you got to play.
Well, I mean, we give exceptions, obviously, for where we like recommending a longer game.
Oh, yeah,
if we need more time with something, and we like to have, like, of course, off episodes where we do a off-topic thing or whatever. But anyway, Elias recommended us a shorter game, Weebtroidvania, as I like to call it. I get to live out my
Fantasies.
my fantasies of being a Dio from Part 3 of JoJo. I freeze time and throw knives around.
But as a cute maid girl.
Yeah. So, please, Elias, tell us about Touhou Luna Nights.
Yeah, Touhou Luna Nights. So I don't know the exact full history, but the Touhou games have always been, from what I've seen, like bullet hell games, like arcade bullet hell kind of games. Very short. I was looking up on how long to beat. Most of them are like within an hour or like 45 minutes, just because they're bullet hell games and with like 4 stages and you finish it. With the exception of Touhou Luna Nights, which was their attempt with Ladybug Studios, I think is what they were called, to make like a full Metroidvania little scenario based off the what's it called, the lore of the actual series. And then there's also another one called Genso Traveler, which is a 350-hour playthrough game. So that's I want to play that one now. I really want to play that one. But yeah, so Touhou Luna Nights little like it's a Metroidvania, but very very in the weeb realm of things. So very anime-esque in its portrayal of Metroidvanias, and it just takes that formula and puts it in an anime form, which I personally like because I love anime. But yeah, that's like the overview of it. You collect items, Metroidvania, yeah, that's it.
We want to get our general thoughts about it.
Yeah, so
like, just
overall
really quickly.
scores from everyone real quick. What would everyone give it out of 10? Because I'll start with mine first, I guess. I give it a solid 9 just because I had so much fun with it. There's a lot of good things, and I'll go into more detail, but I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10 for me. But
I'll go next. I'll give it about a 7 or 8 because it was fantastic. Bosses were awesome. But yeah, I have some stuff, and I'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I would give it like a 6 or 7 for the first like 80% of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The final level though, I thought was pretty annoying, so that kind of knocks down a little bit. But
okay.
yeah. Other than that though, I liked it.
Okay.
I reached a difficulty spike I could not surpass about 75% of the way through.
Oh wow!
But I did enjoy what I played, so 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm around the same place. So I haven't. Well, I'm not currently like locked in anything right now. I'm in the middle of like a platforming section. I'm not on a boss right now because I did finish the one boss. I had that Twitch clip of it. That was me having a heart attack, beating the boss at 1 HP in the clock tower.
Amelia, yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But yeah, no, I still haven't finished it. I want to because I really, really like it, but like stuff that's like getting my balls stomped on, like difficult, is just kind of not what I'm in the mood for recently. I've been kind of like more relaxing, laid back sort of experiences, not sensory overload. I do love these games though, because this game is really good. I'd say it's like a strong 7, light 8. Personally, again, I haven't finished it, and that could obviously change with the final boss and whatever. But oh yeah, no, it's damn good.
Sweet. Okay. Do you want me to start with detail stuff, or should we go from lowest score up, or
You can just cream about the game as much as you want, but
actually, let me. I'll go last, just because I loved watching people play, and I'll probably comment on other people's stuff. So, because I watched you play, Ethan, I watched Ben play. I didn't see Andrew play. I would have loved to see him play. But
so I guess we'll do Andrew
start with
first,
Andrew,
I guess, because he seems to have like the most negative experience out of everybody on it. Two weeks in a row, baby. Look at you.
Okay. I like this game more than Prey. I'll put that up front. Where to begin? Well, first of all, I have a hard time calling it a Metroidvania. I'll call it more of a Metroidvania, if you will. It's a lot more linear than like a Metroid game or anything like that. I tried backtracking a little bit, like later in the game when you unlock some portals, and like that's the whole idea. Like you unlock abilities, then you go back to other areas, and that unlocks other areas, and you get more upgrades.
Yeah.
I only found about 3 of those, and it was kind of annoying to backtrack in some of the older areas. One of my biggest criticisms is that when you leave an area and you come back, the enemies respawn immediately.
Yeah.
I find that a little irritating, but I will say like the best parts of the game are like the boss fights. Initially they seem so insurmountable, but you find like little like quirks. Like I love the whole system of like when an attack grazes you, you gain a little bit more HP back.
Yeah.
So I thought that's super
high
clever.
risk, high reward.
That's super clever. I like that a lot. But so after playing through the boss a few times, you start like picking up on like little ways you can get your health back and like little openings, and like you start memorizing their attack patterns, and they're quite fun. They're well animated. I find it funny that like every character in the game is like a generic anime girl.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's all Touhou is.
Yeah. I'd love to see like an all-girl cast like cartoon or like video game or something that's not anime, because that seems to be like everything. But that's just me. That's not like criticism against the game. But so yeah, best part of the game was the boss fights. I thought the time stop mechanic was really good too. Some of the platforming, it does have that annoying quality where sometimes like enemies pop up like directly in front of you and they knock you backwards into spikes, which that's a little irritating, but it's definitely the positives outweigh the negatives though. The pixel art was quite nice. It was it definitely had a level of charm to it that I liked. I liked your little interactions with like the shopkeeper character and how she like isn't like telling you that the gems do stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I figured that out like pretty quickly because it's like, yeah, this gem like increases your like attack, and it's like, oh, then I probably shouldn't be selling these, right? And but yeah, I like how the game also does keep you like a secret though, so it's not super obvious. Pretty good game. I definitely got roadblocked at the end there with some of the platforming, but other than that, though, yeah, pretty solid overall.
Which one, might I ask, was your favorite boss that you played?
I like them all. The final one with not final. The one with like the wings. That one was pretty.
Tower?
The watchtower.
That was pretty epic. Like some of her attacks were insane.
I was locked on that bitch for like 90 minutes.
Same.
That was the entirety of that one stream.
The 1
I did
hour
of
stream,
Touhou Luna Nights was just doing that boss. That's the one I clutched at like 1 health.
I actually found that one a bit easier than the previous one, the one with the books.
That one was easy. That one was quite
She's
easy
so
for me.
fun.
To spoil, I guess for me, that one was my favorite. Okay. The librarian
nice,
lady.
Yeah.
That one was my favorite. I loved that fight. That fight was so good.
Nice.
My favorite might have been the witch one, which is probably an unpopular opinion, but that was just the first one where I was initially like, oh wow, how do I do this? And then I was like,
the witch kicked my ass.
Yeah, but then I kind of caught on like quicker than I thought I would, and I like beat her like quicker than I thought I would. So that was like kind of like a like a eureka moment for me. It's like, oh, this is like, I like this, where it's like it something that seems so insurmountable initially. It actually has like a lot of like little little quirks to it that you can like a lot of cracks in the armor, if you will, that you can pinpoint, and the boss fight becomes quite a bit easier at that point. I appreciate that.
Just
that
like
level
Prey.
of design.
I remember the first time fighting the witch, when she does like the little carousel spinny attack that like covers your whole like exit point, and she like runs into the corner. I was like, how the fuck do I dodge this piece of shit? And you just pause time, you're like, can I jump through that? And you jump through, you're like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just little things like that, and like just barely like grazing like on the wing boss, like that attack that she does where it's like I want to say it's like she makes like 2 beams that are like on opposite sides of you, and they like kind of converge together.
Yeah, with the like laser beams.
Yeah, if you jump at the right time, you basically graze like 100 times, and you get all your health back.
Yep.
It's amazing. It totally breaks that boss. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I found that one easier than the book one, because I couldn't find a good like graze pattern for that one. But yeah, really good. At least the boss fights that I played were those were definitely the highlights. It kind of faltered a little bit in some of the metroidvania aspects and the platforming aspects, which knocks it down a little bit for me. But overall, yeah, pretty positive experience.
Nice. Okay, who had the next lowest score? I think it was between Ben and was it Greg? Sorry, I forgot the name. Edgar. God, Edgar.
Hi, Greg.
That's
Oh,
fucking
Greg.
sick.
I'm so sorry. I told you I'm bad with names. God damn it.
That's all right. That's a first.
That's the first.
Thanks for being better.
That's all good. So you guys basically nailed like my favorite part, which was the witch battle, and that moment where I figured out you can jump through that seemingly impossible attack.
Mhm.
That was the moment the game clicked for me, where I thought this guy was like, oh, this is bullshit. This is too hard. Can't do it. I'm never gonna play it again, because it took me at least over an hour just to get to that boss for some reason.
Okay.
But it was still my favorite because it really taught me that I was, not to say you play the game wrong, but I was playing the game wrong. I wasn't using all the mechanics. I went, damn, this is kind of fun. So at that point, then I just kept going, and it was really the platforming that really held me back from loving it as much as I wanted to, because there's so many instances where you run into a place like, all right, that's the Metroid way. I can't go there yet because I have the right thing. But what is the right thing? I guess I'll find out later.
Mhm.
And you're just trying to keep this like mental checklist of sorts to see, oh, there was a red door here, so I have to remember once I get the key card to go there.
Mhm.
There's looks like a double jumping place. I need to remember to go there. So it's just a lot of things that as you're going further into the game, I just started losing all this. So then all my sense of wanting to go back and re-explore parts of old levels just went away. And I'm like, I just want to beat this thing.
Mhm.
And there's one puzzle that I think was my breaking point. It was the first time and only time I used a guide to get through. And there's one puzzle, like, I think it's to get to the librarian boss, where it's a button to open a door, but the door's underwater.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason,
Mhm.
I spent half an hour on it, and I broke, I freeze in water. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? So I look at the guide and completely forgot that there's the option of slow down time and not stop it.
Yeah.
I went, what? You can do that?
The first mechanic they show you at the very beginning of the game. Yeah.
But then once you're able to completely stop, that mechanic for the most part becomes useless, because I'd rather just stop time slow. But turns out, I guess you do need it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
I get that.
so it's just like, I guess it's not the game's fault that I forgot it, but at the same time, in my opinion, what a game should be is a constant progression of mechanics that are applied, and not just selective with them. Like, oh, you use these now, you use these later. Like, I'd rather gradually build up my arsenal of what I can do to feel like I'm able to do more in the game. And so just things like that, platforming, the way it does ability progression, kept me down to an 8, but it controls really well, it plays really well, looks really good. I even like the music. The music is really accurate for the time of 90s platformers. Like, if you go back and play those type of high-speed action platformers, this is basically what the music sounds like, with a bit more violin to it. And it's just really good. And so, yeah, overall, 8 out of 10. Bosses are the best part of the game. Good stuff.
Oh, nice. I will agree with you on the little gripe with the slow down time mechanic, because I don't think I ever used that unless it was during the platforming sections. And that's the only time my brain was like, oh yeah, you use this. In the bosses, I don't think I ever used it. Never in the bosses.
I used it a lot. In that
yeah, I saw
Clock
you
Tower
and
lady.
Ben use that mechanic a lot. I sat there thinking wow, people use that? You can think of using that? So
Yeah, I kind of wish that the time stop feature was implemented maybe a little bit later in the game, so you become more used to just slowing down time.
Yeah.
Maybe-
I agree with that. Yeah, if it was a little bit in the second level, I think that would have been perfect. Make you do the first boss with a slow down time one. That would have been fine for me. But
Yeah, like you get the time stop immediately after the slowdown. I think very soon after. So you just kind of well, this is clearly way better. Why would I use the other thing? So yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's one of the more fixable errors.
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That is one of the bigger problems I had with the game, if any. But Ethan or Ben? I don't know which one you guys to go next.
I guess I'll go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I gave it about like I said, a 7 or 8 out of 10. Yeah, overall, like you guys are saying, pretty much everything that I liked about it. It's fast paced. It's got really tight combat mechanics. The bosses are incredible. I guess like to touch on some other things, like the story, like apparently like is the same thing throughout every single Touhou game, more or less. It's like the same characters kind of, and then like it's all basically the idea of that you're in like this imaginary world, and everyone's playing together or something like that, even though you're throwing daggers and shooting lasers at each other. But yeah, it's not like, I didn't think the story was like amazing, but like I thought it was at least like interesting enough that like it kept me interested to see where it would go at the same time of just wanting to progress the game. So I guess it did a good enough job there. And yeah, normally I'm not like super in on like pixel art indie titles. I don't know why, but and then like especially with anime themes as well, because I don't really typically enjoy anime that much, but this one, like I don't know, the animation was really slick, and I really liked a lot of the designs. So this one did actually like rise above some of the other ones that I have played. So good job on it there. And I gotta say that some of the gripes that I have were like the inability to look up or down to see like where you were going with platforming.
Yeah.
I may have been spoiled by Hollow Knight and other Metroidvanias, but yeah, like the idea that like you would, like, I mean, the fact that you would go into a new room not knowing what was there, and then like you'd see like a drop off, and you wouldn't have any way of really telling what was down at the bottom unless you just like jumped to see, and at that point you could die or could like run into a trap or something like that you weren't ready to deal with yet. And so that was a little bit annoying because they kind of forced you to just gamble some of those sections. And then another thing that I had a gripe with, and this is the same thing that I had a gripe with in Cave Story as well, is enemies that can go through walls and attack through walls without having really any reason for doing so. The only ones that I gave a pass to were the little ghost enemies because those made sense. But like the little fairy enemies, I thought those were pretty lazy because it's like, I mean, they're not ghosts or anything like that. They just fly around and shoot stuff at you, and they can shoot through walls. They can fly through walls, and same with the little like flame things that moved when you like tried to shoot them.
Oh
yeah. So those two enemies I think were really annoying, and I didn't really think those were very good enemies at all. But I mean, those are pretty minor compared to like everything else in the game, because everything else I thought was pretty fun. Like everyone else says, the bosses were awesome. I think my favorite was probably the librarian boss.
Nice.
Because I think that one was
the word of the day.
Based indeed. I think that one was just the funnest pattern to memorize. And what was interesting was when I did the final boss, like it took a while for me to actually beat the final boss. But once I did it, Elias was just like, huh. And I was like, and then he said that I had beaten the final boss with only getting one of the upgrades that you can get. And I took the endurance route. So meaning I used like the holy sword thing as like my primary means of attack while I just like dodged and froze time to like regain MP and health. So it took me like
a 10-minute
How long did it
fight.
take me to beat the?
It was
it was like a 10-minute fight.
And for me, it was like 4 minutes. I was like, wow, Ben. Yeah, so Ben went,
apparently
Ben went there with one upgrade, which was to his MP. So he had 100 health, 110 MP, and the default time clock. So it was like, what, 100 seconds, 120 seconds of anything? That's all he had.
Yeah, I think for that one, I only had like the MP one, and then I had like an upgrade to the time watch, so like maybe I was just slightly ahead of you.
Yeah,
but okay, there you go. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to watch you play for sure. Seeing you like learn the patterns and see where you could do stuff was really cool. So, but
yeah, final boss was really good though.
Yeah, final boss is
probably a close second.
Final boss is great. Okay, is it time for me to gush and like
it's time for me.
Oh no, yeah, it's you. I forgot about you. Yes. Go.
No, Ethan,
Go.
yeah.
Yeah, everyone forgets me. It's okay.
Ethan.
I'm kidding. It's a joke. Yeah. So, the thing I've generally I absolutely like agree with what everybody else has basically said. Again, fantastic bosses. I'm not nearly as negative on the platforming bits as say like Andrew is. I certainly do like them. There's a few of them that are a tad annoying, but for the most part, I think they're really well put together. I was definitely going to bring up my issue with the enemies that can flow through walls, like what Ben was bringing up. That was definitely one, because I do have some issues with the game. My biggest issue is it's trial and error design in a way that it doesn't clearly communicate that sort of stuff to you. In that, when I figured out to phase through that one laser attack on the witch, the thing is like you have the giant light beam that's coming down with that too. Like, that looks like that whole thing is a projectile. There's no clear telegraphs to like figure this stuff out. It's all accidental, banging your head up against a wall until you finally figure it out by just like sheer luck. There's no real ingenuity of it. There's no way to kind of look at it and know exactly what to do. It's primarily an accidental thing when it's like, oh, I can actually move through it that way or something. Especially again when you had that big laser attack. I was stuck on that forever because like there's no way I can move through that until finally I did a dash or like I jumped through it or something because like I was pinned up against the wall and I froze time. And I was hoping that hopefully I could just like smack some iframes to like get out the other side, like take some damage. But then like I was able to jump through it and I was like, how the hell did that happen? So, and I can't think of too many examples off the top of my head, but I did feel that, consistently with a couple of enemies throughout the game. And bosses and so forth, where it's maybe a little too vague for its own good. Like, don't get me wrong, I like vague. I like figuring things out for myself. I'm a big boy. I can handle myself. But also, it certainly doesn't hurt to have a slight like, hey, look at this. That look like. It's clearly kind of like visually telegraphed. So it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I do that, then that happens. Cool. Instead of banging my head up against a brick wall for, an hour until I either A, dumb luck through it, or B, I figure out the trick that they're trying to teach me, and then I move on from there. I do have some issues with some of the standard enemies in the game. Of course, we were talking about the little floaty fairy people things.
Yeah.
I think that the total enemy variety of the game is kind of lackluster. There's not really a whole ton that I find that's all too interesting. And a couple like weird enemies that just kind of don't really make any sense of being there. Like, what the hell's with these giant Frankenstein guys? And it's just some weird like kind of tonal, like, well, not necessarily tonal, but it's like you have like weird lizard people things. You've got
those things,
Hillary Clinton and, Barack Obama here, like, crazy lizard people that you're attacking 1 second. And then you got, Frankenstein's in the next room. And it's like, what's this, like, correlation between the two of them? It just kind of feels like it almost feels like, I say this and this sounds like really, mean, but it feels like an asset flip in that regard where it's just kind of like, oh, I find this thing off the Unity store and even though it's like completely different to what this thing is, I'm going to plop it in there anyway. But the thing is, I can tell they actually put like love and care into building it. So it's, I'm not going to sit here and be like, ooh, whatever. The enemies are still designed really well, have interesting move sets and so forth, and are still fun to fight. It's just more of a visual thing more than anything else. And then, I guess the last thing, because I think I had the most unique experience of this, because no one else really brought this up, but when I first started playing the game, I jumped in, and like right as soon as the game started and like our little like anime maid character like jumps onto screen, I immediately was like, oh great. I was immediately like turned off. I was like, this.
Like, no.
Like my expectations like immediately like plummeted like right as soon as I saw who the player character was. I mean, like you did see, I had the icon on Xbox, so I played this through Game Pass and everything. But like right as soon as you get it started, and the music in the opening area, like it really got on my nerves after a while. The rest of the soundtrack didn't bother me nowhere near as much, but that first area, I hate that song. The rest of it I like, but having that blaring over and over and over and over again, and like I'm kind of having this hard time trying to figure out what to do and what I'm, what the hell's going on and what the hell are these controls? Why am I pressing the B button to jump? Eventually, after getting used to all of that and just completely giving up on the story, because did I really care? No. I really didn't. I'm sorry. I really didn't care. But after a little bit, I started to really pick up on the game more, and the gameplay loop started to nab me. I get like the time slow and the time freeze, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what games you're playing here. and then as I started to experiment more with those move sets and started moving through bosses and so forth, that really like picked up for me, and I really got into the groove with it. In fact, it was last Sunday, like right after we recorded our last episode, is when I first started playing it, and I got all the way to the watchtower, clock tower lady, in a single sitting, because like I was just like enraptured by that gameplay loop, because it feels really good, tight, precise platforming. I love the sword throws and everything, and like the freeze time to jump on the swords and everything, and a lot of that stuff, the perpetual upgrades. Although I do definitely agree with Edgar that there's some weird laying out of the upgrade paths that eventually made it hard to inspire me to go back, because I found like a health upgrade at one point, like an opening area, but without an ability to like mark on the map, like, hey, I need to mark here, like in Hollow Knight or something, where it's like, hey, I need to come back here, I'm gonna place an icon, I'll make sure to get back here at some point. It's, I'm wandering around to try and get back there. And additionally, its lack of visual, I guess, unique identity in certain areas makes it a little hard to backtrack through. Now, that's not a bad thing, because the game still looks really good. I still like its pixel art style and everything, but I think I'm spoiled, because obviously, like, my first Metroidvania experience was Hollow Knight, playing that first, and with such visually distinct areas, and it's like, oh yeah, that chasm, that leads to this, and like, oh yeah, because there's these enemies there, and I was able to path that out so much better. I don't know why here, even though this game's a lot smaller than Hollow Knight, it was more difficult, but yeah, but I felt there was far more, distinct visual aid, and I guess, yeah, well, that's it, more distinct visual aid that helped me to recognize the map layouts more, and I guess I had that more enticed feeling to go through and backtrack and further explore and to gain new upgrades and stuff like that. So, and of course, I'm going to round this all up by saying I know I just went on like a huge critical rampage of this, and I was like, oh, I got problems with this and this and this and this and this. It's still a great game. I still really like it. I still think it's a fantastic game, and I still intend to finish it. I've had a ton of fun with it, but it's not perfect. Oh, yeah, no. But again, what I've played, I do think it's, simply it's a fantastic game in a lot of regards. Right. So that's enough of my blabbermouth. Elias, go ahead.
Yes.
You can now.
Okay. So in hearing all your guys' opinions, it's kind of cool to see like these other sides of it for sure, because it's like, okay, cool. I guess you're right about the fairies. The fairies are kind of bullshit. I don't like how they phase through walls and stuff. But I was like, for me, I didn't really care, because you could just freeze time and just skip the room, And eventually it becomes this whole thing of you just kind of freeze time, go through rooms, because the cool part is your time gauge refills up as you graze enemies in freeze time anyway. So you can just freeze at the beginning of the room, pass all the enemies, get to the next room, you still have your full gauge because you just picked up everything you needed as you went through. So you can just kind of ignore enemies for the most part halfway through the game. But But anyway, I was trying to 100% the game before the podcast. I have not, because the final extra boss fucking beats my ass every time. But yeah, no, I agree with basically everything everyone else has said. Bosses are by far the favorite part of the game for me as well. I do really, really enjoy the platforming. It was a lot of fun. I realized that I don't think any of you did the recycling stuff, did you? Or the trash can bin stuff? Did anyone pick up on that? Did you can do that?
I think I saw it happen once, but then I didn't really see anything happen because of it, so I just forgot about it.
Sad. It's like my favorite part. So there's a lot of things, because I played the game in Japanese, obviously, because I'm dweeb and I love Japan, even though I have yet to be there. I want to be there so bad and just see it, make sure my reality becomes real, you know. But there was a lot of
reality becomes real.
Yes. But there was a lot of Japanese humor that got lost in translation, and a lot of Japanese ideology that gets really lost in translation between levels and between little quirks like that. Because there's this whole like extra side mission quest thing you can do, kind of, where whenever you pick up the drink that gives you the full health and full MP, she drinks a can and then tosses the little juice can, right? You actually, each of those machines has a trash can somewhere in that little area. You're supposed to take their drink, and before she just tosses it, you're supposed to move her and get her close to the trash can to get it in there. Yeah, and the trash can will then light up green. You can actually collect all the trash cans for a little special thing that happens at the end. But that's a very Japanese humor thing, because in Japan you're not supposed to like walk around with something in your hand. So they have little bins next to every single vending machine out there. So what you do is you buy a vending machine thing, you drink it, you eat it or whatever, and then you toss it in the bin right there. You just sit there until you finish your food and then you toss it. So she breaks that, because what you have to do is you go to the can, and sometimes it's across the freaking room and you can't make it there in time. So you freeze time as if you never moved, and you go over to the trash can and you drop it in there when she's done. And so there's this whole little like side mission thing, and I thought that was so quirky and funny, and I love that. So there's a bunch of those little things. The dialogue, I realized,
Quirky.
was translated very well, but a lot of the humor and puns that they use, there's a lot of puns in the dialogue in the Japanese one, based off kanji or mispronunciations of things or how people spoke. Nitori is actually the shopkeeper. She's a lot more condescending sounding in the Japanese version than in English, and that kind of gives you that vibe of like something's up with her. She's not quite being truthful, right? And she talked differently than you would expect someone like her to talk. So there's a bunch of little tiny translation things that kind of get lost, and I realized from watching you guys play some of the things, I was like, oh, that's technically a correct translation, but they kind of lost half the character of that translation. So there's a few things like that. I think that's why I enjoyed it a little bit more than everyone else as well when it came to story and dialogue stuff. Music is by far one of my favorite things of the game. Every single level's theme felt very unique, very much, for me at least, added to the character of each level. And then by itself is also just fantastic music, and I love it. And that's one of the big things for me. Soundtracks usually have to be really good to help the character of whatever they're helping in the game, and to be able to tell that part of the story. But they also have to be really good sounding on their own, you know, for at least in my books, for it to be a really good soundtrack. So that hits all the marks for me. The platforming was probably one of my favorite kinds of platforming ever, just because of how creative you can be with a lot of your movement. And then I love the fact that a lot of the platforming did deal with using your time gauge, and some platforms would only move if you had the time gauge on, some move backwards, some move, there was a bunch of different things you had to think about when you were doing it around. Like getting up to the clock tower was kind of a pain in the ass, but it was also really fun to see, like, okay, so if I do this and I do this and I do this, you can go through. I took the time to find every single possible secret in the game. So I did all the trash cans. I think there's like, it's a 5x5. There's 25 trash can bins to do, if I remember correctly. So I did all the trash can bins. I found all the HP and MP power up things. Let's just say Hollow Knight really taught me how to spot where a hidden wall would be. There are so many freaking hidden walls in that game. And the cool, there's a lot of them. And the cool part is when you get the Holy Sword at the 5th level, That is the deal breaker power up. That thing like destroys everything. It auto targets all enemies, as Ben was saying, because he used it for the boss. It just auto targets and just keeps spamming them. But as you're progressing through, or as you're walking through the platforming sections, it actually auto targets the walls because it counts them as enemies as well. So if the sword finds a hidden wall, it'll break it open for you automatically. So basically, I just ran through the entire level again, or the entire game, back to front with the sword out the whole time, just letting it break everything. And then I eventually found all the power-ups and stuff and whatnot. I think I found every single ability upgrade as well, or not ability upgrade, but the like special weapon attack or whatever it was. Favorite ones, but definitely the 1,000 sword attack, which I don't think you had, Ethan. So I would definitely say find that if you can, because it's probably my favorite attack. You just throw 1,000 freaking swords. It's fantastic.
It's the best.
Oh jeez, yeah. I don't
It just chunks down bosses. So if you use in the right spots, you can, and it actually gives you iframes the entire time throughout the attack. So if someone's going to hit you with something really big, you just pop that, and it gives you graze points during it too. So it's kind of game breaking almost, but I love it. Not necessary, but really helpful for the final boss, and really helpful for the extra boss at the very end of the extra levels. But yeah, so I think I definitely enjoyed the game more than everyone, purely for the fact that I'm much more into the anime culture and just Japanese culture stuff in general. Because like that trash can joke, I love the trash can joke. It doesn't make any sense to anyone else, but I love that trash can joke. It's my favorite thing in the world. But yeah, I don't know. So that's why it's a solid 9 out of 10. The extra levels are probably my favorite, because they introduce a bunch of new enemies, and these enemies actually deal with the time themselves. Because for the most part, if I remember correctly, most of the enemies in the base part of the game are just you freeze time, everyone's done, everyone freezes. In the second like extra level that you get, there are actually some enemies that can phase through time, some that only move during time freezes, and then a few other, and there's like normal enemies that have just been like enchanted to have these things. As you're like, oh great, now I have to deal with this. You gain actually a sprinting ability, which is really nice. You get to sprint around a lot faster. And then there's like 2 extra bosses to do. So it's, I don't know. I really enjoyed that, and it was really nice. I do have some gripes, and I do have some complaints as well, hence why it's not 10 out of 10 for me. It's 9 out of 10. Like Ben said, the looking up and down and just having to kind of go with faith and hope you don't die, because sometimes the save points are in weird spots. And that was the other big thing I had. The save points are in god-awful spots half the time. Because when I went through the clock tower, there's a save point right before the boss. So you have to go all the way through the thing, go through the first section, all the way up. And then you get halfway through, and it's like, man, I wish there was a save point here. There is a save point there. It was in the room to the right that I didn't check, but I kept going up, because there's like a T section, basically. So you come in from the left side. There's a room to the right that I didn't realize there was a room to the right on. And there's a way to go straight up. So I kept going straight up and missing this checkpoint, basically. And so I was making this section so much harder for myself in the clock tower. And then I found out, oh, there's a save point here. Great. And the same thing happened, I think, to Ben in the last level, where all he had to do was go down and to the right, and there was a save station, but he kept skipping it on accident to go up and around. I was like, oh crap, that is like really awkwardly placed. That's not a nice spot. And so he was having to go through this cutscene like over and over because he couldn't find the save station. So little things like that. But yeah, overall, boss fights are the best. I think my personal favorite boss has to be the final boss, just because once you get the pattern down, it's really nice. Just such a nice pattern. And yeah, Andrew was right with the clock tower boss, with the 2 laser pointers. I actually ran towards the lasers, and then jumped up diagonally with them and just perfectly recovered all my MP. Time froze, shot all the 1,000 swords, and on my way back down, hit or barely missed the other ones. So I could use up like half my MP on that, and then regain it all on the fall back down. It was kind of like, cool, you're giving me just free hits against you. So that boss took like a minute to beat. But yeah, good game. I like that game a lot.
Yeah.
So
I do like the depth in the gameplay. Like like you said, like there's a lot of things that you just said that like I had no idea existed in the game, and
yeah, there's a lot of little charm to it that it was really nice that I liked. Very Japanesey charm, but I liked a lot.
Yeah.
So-
It would be nice if some of that stuff was a bit more overt, so that we could have experienced some of the same things. But it's that's not necessarily like a fault of the game. It's just more like it's just the kind of game to.
Yeah, it's a translation
Yeah.
error, so not error, but a translation slip, if anything. Because like you don't understand someone else's culture, you can't appreciate the jokes that they'll make in that culture, right? So, like, if someone from Japan tried to play a very American game, they probably wouldn't like, if they try to play Mafia or something, right? They're probably not going to understand much of the humor in it, you know, if there is any kind of humor or any of the themes of it, and same vice versa. All right, I'm not going to understand a Swedish game if someone made a Swedish game with Swedish humor in it. I'm not going to understand it at all because I'm not part of Swedish culture. So,
Oh yeah, that good old Swede humor.
oh god, Swedes. Oh. Meatballs.
Meatballs.
But yeah, I think that's why I had a much nicer experience, just because I understood the humor that was naturally implemented in the game, and I got to see the actual Japanese dialogue for it, and I was able to understand that humor better. So, but yeah, it's I don't know, I like game good, 9 out of 10. I still need to
You definitely
finish.
sold it on me a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to finish the final boss. But yeah, definitely those trash can mini games. Favorite mini games I think I've ever played. Because some were tricky, some were really tricky, and there was one that was so annoying because it was in the 4th level, in the top right corner of the map. Basically, there's actually a hidden bin behind a secret doorway that the sword doesn't actually hit. For some reason, that's the one secret passage that the door that the sword doesn't hit. I think because the trash can counts as an entity and it like masks the wall because it's right inside the wall barely. But my big brain got up there to the first trash can. I sat there looking at the wall like, there's a trash can here, isn't there? Just throw swords. Fuck. Okay. So yeah, 25 trash cans. A lot of trash cans. So recycle, and you get an achievement for recycling. So I got that achievement. I recycled, baby. But yeah,
Look at you caring for the environment.
I'm such a good person. Look at me, I'm so humble.
I am such a good person, guys.
Nice. So I guess I presume that's like basically everybody's thoughts on Touhou Luna Nights.
So overall,
pretty
everyone
much.
liked it though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay.
There's one thing that came to
Go for it.
mind that I don't think anyone mentioned is that the fact that there's platforms that some can like move when time's frozen and some like things like that. I forgot how much I liked that. That's actually the one thing I really liked about the platforming, where they made puzzles through that.
Mm-hmm.
And just shout out to that. I like when games try to make platforming a bit more unique than just jump here, time it right.
Yeah.
So yeah, quick shout out to that.
That was my favorite part of the platforming, I think, too. Just yeah. And being creative with it, because there's some sections where you could like kind of abuse that and just like put a platform in a specific spot and leave it there and then like jump through very quickly or something. So
Yeah. Huge shout out to jumping on knives. That
dude, that's
ability's
the best one.
so
Yeah, that
good.
one's really great.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I was waiting for that because remember, Elise, you mentioned that at some point, and I was like, oh, I could use that. And so I was just waiting to be able to use that.
So
A funny JoJo reference. That was
you throw a
10
knife,
out of
freeze
10.
time, haha, JoJo reference. Jumps on knife.
JoJo reference. Whoa, bro! Jeez, I'm glad that I got into that show just before
Pointless.
like the tidal wave came in of all the morons that completely ruined it. So at least I enjoyed it before it got ruined by everybody else. Oh boy. Anyway, throw knife, freeze time, haha, funny.
Yep.
I know what I'm doing already for the title and the image
Just
for
that
this
haha,
podcast. That's gonna be really funny.
Okay.
So really simple. So I guess at this point here, we have a next game recommendation, and that now falls upon Ben.
Indeed.
Game.
So, yes, this one, I was trying to look for a game that none of us have played before, but I wasn't really finding anything that piqued like my interest personally, and that I don't think many or a lot of others would want to try. So I looked at my own library to see like stuff that I had maybe like played a long time ago that like I don't really remember that much. So I was going through, and then I also checked Game Pass as well for
course.
accessibility's sake. And I've landed on this one, which I don't really remember that well. All I remember was that like some of the gameplay, like some of the the niche things about it were really were really intriguing, and there was some good character development. So this one is going to be a complete departure from the fast-paced action stuff that we've had with Touhou, and this one slows it down a bit. Yeah, and this one slows it down a lot more. Have any of you heard of the game Oxenfree?
Oh god, yeah, I watched the full playthrough.
Oh,
of that,
yeah.
Oh, you watched the full playthrough?
I've watched like 3 different full playthroughs of that. Yeah, I haven't played it though.
Oh, so you already? Oh, okay. What about you, Andrew?
Nope, never have.
And Ethan?
I've heard of it, yeah. I think I may have actually gotten it like as a free game with gold back on the Xbox a long time ago. Never played it though.
And Edgar, have you heard of it at all?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I think it's on Game Pass, so definitely one I'd like to check out.
Yeah. What isn't on Game Pass?
Um,
Well, there are a lot of things actually,
Metro.
Ethan's like, I know the list.
but yeah. I looked at all the ones. I looked at all the ones available on PC specifically because Oxenfree isn't like a graphically demanding game either, so you can play it on like pretty much anything. And it's a short game too, so that's another good thing. You can beat it probably like it's about the same time as Touhou.
Hours, yeah.
It's like 5-6 hours. Story based, character based, some puzzles.
Spooky, scary.
But yeah, it should be interesting to see what you guys think. And yeah, it's not like a horror game, but it's more of like a spooky game. Yeah.
I remember watching playthroughs and I was like, I don't know if I want to play this game because it's scary. So maybe, but that was also like years ago. So maybe I'll be better now. We'll see.
Yeah, I remember playing through it and not being like scared like I was in, for example, like Outlast or Amnesia. But like, there's some moments where you're like, ooh, that's a little creepy. So it's not trying to be a horror game, but it's got some suspense. So yeah, I'm interested to see what you guys think, and then I will play through it again because I don't really remember what happened.
Perfect.
Sick. So, with this being a shorter one, this will be one that we'll report back next week.
I think so.
Then, unless any of us fall too far behind on it. In that case, we can always work around. But with that leads to the end of the amazing discussions for today. I know how to segue really well. Please end my life. Edgar, our very special guest for today, please plug all your shit away. Get more followers on your crap, because you're pretty good at what you do, dude.
Thank you very much. All right, well, before that, I think we all learned a little something today, and that's Hollow Knight is a very good game.
Yes, I think we already knew that.
Yes.
Because I didn't want to be the one to mention it, because a lot of things I had, like, for example, someone brought up the not being able to look up and down. It didn't hit me till the last session of me playing that game that was actually a huge problem. And it's because Hollow Knight.
Yep.
Everything, just Hollow Knight's, oh my god. What a game. What a game.
Join the club.
Yeah, you're talking. Ben and Elias especially were very adamant. Ben very much. He's got all the achievements on the Steam version. He's 100% of it. Yeah,
yeah,
he's crazy.
What's wrong?
I'm never doing that again.
I mean, I hope you don't do that again. Why would you do that again?
I haven't played Hollow Knight since October. I love the game to death. It's like my favorite game of all time, but like I do need to give it a decent break because I almost broke myself. Yeah. That Pantheon of Hallownest was a pain.
We should do a playthrough with the randomizer mod so you can do it faster.
Dude.
No, not now, but
just watch Absolute Radius show up in the Forgotten Crossroads.
Radius, fuck.
No. What yes, shout out Hollow Knight, and shout out Kentucky Route Zero. No one has played it, and I think we need to change that because it might be the greatest work of art ever made. I'm still not sure.
Kentucky Route Zero.
Yeah, Kentucky Route Zero. It's a game that came, well, originally the first episode came out in 2013, and the 5th and final episode came out last January. So it's only like 7 or 8 hours long. Seriously, if you've never heard of it, the less you know about, the better.
Okay.
It is. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to go on a quick tangent because I have a platform. I need people to play soon. So, Kentucky Route Zero, in the best way to describe it in terms of game is that it's a point and click adventure, quote unquote, but it transcends that and is actually more like a play or like an American folk poem. Really good music, interactive art show. It is. I just can't believe this game exists. I need everyone to play it. Yes, you listeners, especially you. I know you're laying there and you're thinking, what am I going to play? I'm telling you right now, play Kentucky Route Zero. It's always on sale for like $15, and it's absolutely worth all that because it's less than a museum entry, and it'll give you more art and revelations about life than anything else ever will. Anyways, you can find me on YouTube. So actually, I don't have a youtube.com/link. So just look up Foreign Disciples on YouTube, and I'll be the first channel there. The logo will be FD.
Yeah, I also additionally have like all the links and everything are in the description of the podcast and everything like that. So if you can't find it there, we'll have a link down there as well. So I'll grab the link.
Hell yeah. Okay, so my YouTube channel link can be found below. And
anyway, continue.
Or above, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. And if you like gaming content, if you like film content, you can find me talking about that stuff occasionally when I feel like it there. If you want only my film opinions, I am on Letterboxd at letterboxd.com/flickitall, as in flick of the wrist. I think, yeah.
Looking you up right now.
To go ahead, yeah.
I don't think I follow you. I haven't watched a movie in a while, but yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
Oh, I am following you. Okay.
Right on. Yeah, I don't really watch movies as much anymore, but if you ever need an opinion that you can trust, just look up my review of it, because I've probably seen it, and hopefully they'll point you in the right direction, and that's all I have to plug.
Nice.
Sick.
Jinx.
I hate you.
I just hate you now.
I'll go. I'm everywhere. I'm a social parasite. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, and I never use Instagram really, but maybe one day I'll post something there. I'm additionally over on the Letterboxd, and I'm also on the Backlogged, which is the Letterboxd of video games.
Wait, I'm sorry. That's a thing?
Yeah. I'll shoot you a link.
Oh my god, I thought I was trying to invent that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's great it exists. Okay, thank you. I didn't know that existed. All right.
Yeah, I look forward to your account and your based written reviews.
Let's go.
Word of the day. Let's
go!
Yeah, so
The name of this episode will be Based Weebtroidvania.
Knife freeze time.
Nighttime freeze tab funny
Just
JoJo
long,
reference.
just make it a super long title. Oh my god, yes, please.
That's his title.
That'd be a play on like the whole Japanese light novel thing where it's like, oh, my sister can't possibly.
Okay, I
be
need
this
to write
cute.
that
You know,
down.
This huge long title. Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I know I'm like doing my plugs, but I'm writing this down to make sure I don't forget it. Based Weebtroidvania, throw knives, haha, funny JoJo reference. All right, cool. Make sure I have that written down so that I remember. Anyway, on top of Letterboxd and Backlogged, there's no point to me really saying my usernames. Sir Sir KBO on the socials, and then for the letterbox and the backlog, Sir Queejibo. I don't care to spell it. It's ridiculous. Simpsons reference. Haha, funny. Additionally, I'm on, I write for CBR. I get paid slave wages to, write bullshit articles about bullshit. And,
the American dream.
So I'm producing more content over there. If you read my stuff, I have kickback. I've kind of given up on Medium. I'm not really writing on Medium anymore, although I probably should, because I can write whatever I want over there, but I'm just kind of bored and lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Last, I started streaming on Twitch. Again, I made reference of that while we were on the talking and whatever about the games we played during the week. I'll update my link tree of all my bullshit to include my Twitch link. All of that is in the description of the podcast. You'll find it next to my name, the link tree. It's simple. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Ben.
Same. Yeah, so you can find me on Letterboxd, Backlogged, and Twitter at Thunderfellow. Link tree is in the description. Yeah, I don't really talk about movies that much these days because I haven't seen one in a while, similar to Ethan. But I am more active on Backlogged and Twitter these days. So yeah, I guess you can find stuff there. And Andrew.
Ironically, I probably watch the most movies, and I do not have a Letterboxd. So I try to watch one a week, but yeah, maybe I'll do that at some point. Who knows? But you can find me at artstation.com/Andrew Langston. If you want to commission me, shoot me an email at andrewlangstonart@gmail.com. And cool. And that's it.
And then I'm just on SoundCloud under EFA or Elias Fernandez, either or. Yep. Come listen to my shitty music.
Oh, don't put yourself down, King.
Oh man, dude, you're the best musician I know out of like the 12 people I know.
Oh, that's not bad.
Go listen to his EP.
God.
He's got an EP out. He wrote it.
Oh yeah, it was a challenge EP. Yeah, one week.
Yeah.
Wrote 3 songs.
That AP.
Not too bad.
Well, I look forward to playing Oxenfree and talking again next time on Usually Disappointed.
The hell was that?
The end.